Is Hermetic initiation as practiced today truly Egyptian? Or something else entirely? What if the ancient wisdom we seek has been subtly altered, its original essence diluted by centuries of reinterpretation and cultural shifts? Many assume a seamless continuity between modern Hermeticism and the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. Yet the transmission of knowledge across millennia is rarely a straightforward process. The burning question then becomes, has something essential been lost, misunderstood, or perhaps even deliberately obscured along the way? The stakes, fellow mystics, are high. A true understanding of Hermetic initiation is not merely an academic exercise. It's a key to unlocking profound personal transformation and connecting with the authentic spiritual power of the ancients. In this video, we embark on a quest to uncover the Egyptian roots of Hermetic initiation, venturing beyond the familiar texts of the Corpus Hermeticum to explore the deeper, often overlooked, aspects of ancient Egyptian religion and philosophy. To understand this potential deviation, we must ask ourselves, have modern Hermetic orders fully captured the essence of the ancient Egyptian mysteries, or have key deities and practices been misrepresented or misunderstood? Consider, for example, the role of Set, often demonized in modern interpretations, yet a powerful figure in ancient Egyptian cosmology, associated with transformation and overcoming obstacles. Could his true significance hold a key to a deeper understanding of Hermetic initiation? A crucial pattern emerges when we examine both Egyptian and Hermetic traditions, the theme of descent and ascent. The journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, with its trials, symbolic deaths, and rebirths, mirrors the transformative processes described in Hermetic texts. This pattern highlights the importance of confronting one's shadow self and emerging renewed, a concept central to both traditions. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary author of the Corpus Hermeticum, is often linked to the Egyptian god Thoth, or Jehudi, the deity of wisdom, writing, and magic. But how direct is this link? Did the Greek scholars who encountered Egyptian thought during the Hellenistic period fully grasp the nuances of Egyptian religious practices? Let's uncover a possibility that a lost lineage of Hermetic wisdom exists, preserved outside mainstream Western traditions. Perhaps alternative interpretations and practices closer to the original Egyptian mysteries have been passed down through hidden channels, waiting to be rediscovered. The serpent, a powerful symbol in both Egyptian and Hermetic traditions, may hold a key to understanding this deeper meaning of Hermetic initiation, hinting at the transformative power of Kundalini energy and the cyclical nature of existence. And what of the Ankh, the Egyptian symbol of life, or the Eye of Horus, representing protection, healing, and royal power? Do these symbols, so prevalent in Egyptian art and religion, hold clues that can unlock new levels of spiritual insight and transformative power within Hermetic practice? For the modern Hermeticism may only be a fragment of the complete truth. What if, by returning to the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism, we can rediscover lost wisdom and unlock new levels of spiritual insight? The journey is significant because understanding Hermeticism reshapes our perception of reality. To grasp the deeper essence of Hermetic initiation and its transformative potential, the key, therefore, lies in understanding not only the philosophical connections between the traditions, but the practical, experiential core of ancient Egyptian religious practices. Thus, the rediscovery of lost wisdom is not just an intellectual pursuit, but a pathway to personal empowerment, self-knowledge, and spiritual awakening. So, ready to discover the truth, let's get started. Is the widely accepted connection between Hermeticism and ancient Egypt a straightforward and complete narrative, or is it a simplified view based on incomplete and perhaps even romanticized interpretations? The ancient Egypt we often associate with Hermeticism is, in many ways, a construct filtered through centuries of interpretation, not a direct reflection of lived reality. Perhaps crucial pieces have been lost or misinterpreted along the way. Hermetic initiation is traditionally seen as a transformative process aimed toward gnosis and the great work, directly descended from the wisdom of ancient Egypt, passed down through legendary figures like Hermes Trismegistus, whom the Greeks equated with their god Hermes and the Egyptians revered as Thoth. This initiation is not merely an intellectual pursuit, but a profound alchemical process meant to transmute the initiate at the deepest levels of their being. However, in this section, we will focus specifically on what we know about Egyptian mystery schools and explore whether contemporary Hermetic practices genuinely mirror the ancient world. We will not address every aspect of Hermeticism, but specifically examine the connection to ancient Egypt. The core question we must address, then, is this: to what extent does modern Hermetic initiation reflect the actual practices and beliefs of ancient Egyptian mystery schools? Is the connection as direct and accurate as commonly believed, or has something been subtly lost or significantly altered in the transmission of this ancient wisdom? So, what exactly were these ancient Egyptian mystery schools? It's crucial to understand that these weren't schools in the modern sense, with classrooms and textbooks. Instead, they were exclusive religious orders, often centered around temple complexes, focused on transmitting esoteric knowledge and guiding initiates through transformative experiences. Imagine, not classrooms, but temple complexes where initiates underwent symbolic deaths and rebirths, unlocking secrets of the universe through direct, experiential knowledge. These Egyptian mystery schools had several key components. First, ritual practices were comprised of elaborate ceremonies designed to induce altered states of consciousness and facilitate spiritual transformation. Second, the Egyptians used symbolic language, employing complex symbols, myths, and allegories to convey profound spiritual truths that transcended ordinary understanding. Third, at the heart of their belief system was a complex cosmology, a deep understanding of the cosmos, the gods, and humanity's place within the grand tapestry of the universe. Finally, ethical principles underpinned their entire system, emphasizing truth, justice, and cosmic balance, and the importance of living in harmony with the natural order, reflected in every aspect of their lives. The initiation process within these Egyptian mystery schools typically involved a series of carefully orchestrated stages. These included purification rites designed to cleanse the initiate, ordeals to test their courage and resilience, and then dramatic symbolic deaths followed by rebirths. Picture a symbolic death and rebirth ritual designed to shatter the initiate's old consciousness, making way for a transformed understanding of self and the cosmos. Throughout this arduous process, priests and priestesses acted as guides and facilitators, shepherding initiates through the perilous terrain of inner transformation. These Egyptian mystery schools played a vital role in ancient spirituality, functioning almost as secret societies dedicated to the pursuit of enlightenment, echoing similar themes found in other ancient mystery traditions, such as the Eleusinian mysteries of ancient Greece. In summary, these Egyptian mystery schools focused on ritual, symbolism, cosmology, and ethics, all centered around living a life in balance with cosmic principles. Now, what concrete evidence do we have that contemporary Hermeticism genuinely mirrors these ancient Egyptian practices? Let's begin with the example of the weighing of the heart ceremony, a powerful and evocative ritual from ancient Egypt. This ceremony offers a potential connection to Hermetic concepts of judgment and moral responsibility. The core concept behind this ritual is the cosmic balance that governed all aspects of Egyptian life, including the afterlife. The jackal-headed god Anubis, the guardian of the afterlife, oversaw the weighing of the heart against the feather of Maat, a potent symbol of truth and justice. Let us delve into the specifics of this weighing of the heart ceremony. Imagine the scene. The deceased stands before Anubis, as Thoth, the scribe of the gods, meticulously records the proceedings. The heart, believed to be the seat of consciousness and morality, is placed on one side of the scales, while the feather of Maat rests on the other. The scales must balance perfectly for the deceased to pass into the afterlife. A heart heavier than the feather, burdened by sin and negativity, was condemned to oblivion, devoured by the fearsome Amit, the devourer of souls. Now let's analyze how this ceremony might relate to Hermetic concepts of judgment and karma. Does modern Hermetic teaching adequately reflect the profound ethical dimensions emphasized in the Egyptian ceremony? It can be argued that in some contemporary orders, the emphasis on personal power and self-transformation sometimes overshadows the importance of mat, of living in accordance with cosmic balance and moral responsibility. Some contemporary orders focus more on personal power, perhaps inadvertently downplaying the fundamental importance of mat. Let's consider another example, the Egyptian concept of the Ka and Ba, two crucial aspects of the soul, and explore its potential connection to Hermetic concepts of the soul and spiritual bodies. The Ka can be understood as the vital life force, the energetic double that remains connected to the body even after death, while the Ba is the mobile aspect of the soul, often depicted as a bird with a human head, free to travel between the worlds. The Egyptians believed that these aspects of the soul could be nurtured and developed through ritual and spiritual practice. The Ba, with its ability to traverse realms, offered the potential for communication with the divine, while the Ka, sustained by offerings and remembrance, ensured continued existence in the afterlife. The Ba could travel between the worlds, while the Ka remained connected to the body, a duality reflecting the complex interplay between the physical and spiritual realms. Now, what are the potential connections between these concepts of the Ka and Ba and the Hermetic concepts of the subtle bodies, such as the astral body and the mental body? Are these rich and nuanced understandings of the soul's aspects adequately captured in contemporary Hermeticism? It is arguable that modern Hermeticism, with its focus primarily on the astral and mental bodies, may sometimes overlook the more grounded and fundamental aspects of the Ka, the life force intimately connected to the physical realm. Modern Hermeticism focuses more on the astral and mental bodies, sometimes ignoring the more grounded Ka. In synthesis, it appears that some Egyptian concepts do indeed have clear echoes in Hermeticism. However, the degree to which modern Hermeticism fully incorporates and understands these concepts is certainly debatable. To what extent has the original connection between these traditions been subtly distorted or perhaps significantly altered over time, leading to a divergence from the ancient Egyptian source? V. Dvitions and Distortions. When Egyptian wisdom met the world, as we continue to explore the Egyptian roots of Hermetic initiation, we must acknowledge a critical element often overlooked: the challenges inherent in cultural transmission. Ideas, unlike physical objects, cannot simply be photocopied and transported. They are instead translated, reinterpreted, and inevitably altered as they journey across cultures and time. Consider the game of telephone, where a message whispered from person to person gradually transforms beyond recognition. The transmission of Egyptian knowledge to the Greeks was far from a seamless process, and to assume otherwise would be a grave mistake. Numerous historical and cultural factors could have significantly influenced the transmission of Egyptian wisdom, potentially introducing distortions or deviations along the way. The decline of Egyptian civilization, the rise of Greek power, and the vibrant blending of Egyptian and Greek cultures in Hellenistic Egypt created a complex environment where ideas were not simply passed down, but actively reshaped. Moreover, the secrecy and exclusivity surrounding Egyptian mystery schools, while intended to preserve the integrity of their teachings, may have inadvertently contributed to misunderstandings or incomplete transmissions, as knowledge was shared only with a select few. Imagine knowledge carefully guarded within temple walls, whispered from priest to initiate. How much could truly escape unchanged? How much of the original intent was inevitably lost as it moved beyond its original context? Furthermore, we must challenge the idealized notion of a pure, unbroken lineage stretching directly from ancient Egypt to modern Hermeticism. The Egyptians themselves were not a monolithic entity with uniform beliefs and practices. Different schools, temples, and regions likely held varying interpretations of their own traditions, reflecting the diverse and evolving nature of ancient Egyptian religious thought. Attributing a single, unified Egyptian wisdom to Hermeticism risks oversimplifying a far more complex and nuanced reality. The image of a single, unwavering stream of knowledge flowing directly from the Nile to the modern world is a romantic ideal, but one that may obscure a more intricate and fragmented truth. Given these factors, how did they contribute to potential distortions or deviations in the transmission of Egyptian wisdom to the Hermetic tradition? What biases or reinterpretations might have been introduced along the way, subtly or significantly altering the original Egyptian concepts? What filters did the Greeks apply to these ancient ideas, shaping them to fit their own philosophical frameworks? Vi, the Greek lens, reinterpretation, and recontextualization, the influence of Greek philosophy on Hermeticism cannot be overstated. The integration of Platonic, Neoplatonic, and Stoic ideas into Hermetic texts represents a profound reinterpretation of Egyptian concepts through a distinctly Greek lens. Rather than simply adopting Egyptian wisdom wholesale, Greek thinkers actively recontextualized it, shaping it to align with their own philosophical frameworks and intellectual traditions. To truly understand Hermeticism, we must recognize the transformative power of this Greek influence. Specific Greek philosophical concepts played a crucial role in shaping Hermeticism. Platonism, with its emphasis on the theory of forms, the immortality of the soul, and the concept of a transcendent God, provided a framework for understanding the Hermetic emphasis on the spiritual realm and the soul's journey towards enlightenment. Neoplatonism, with its concept of the One, the theory of emanation, and the emphasis on mystical union with the divine, offered a philosophical basis for Hermetic ideas about the nature of reality and the path to spiritual ascension. Stoicism, with its emphasis on living in accordance with nature, the importance of reason and virtue, and the concept of cosmic order, resonated with Hermetic ideas about cosmic harmony and the importance of ethical conduct. Hermeticism, therefore, is not simply Egyptian wisdom repackaged, but a unique synthesis of Egyptian and Greek thought. Consider, for example, how Greek philosophy reinterpreted specific Egyptian ideas. The Egyptian concept of Ma'at, representing cosmic balance and harmony, was reinterpreted through the Stoic concept of natural law, emphasizing the importance of living in accordance with the rational order of the universe. The Egyptian concept of the soul, with its multiple aspects such as the Ka and Ba, was reinterpreted through Platonic theories of the soul's immortality and its separation from the body, shifting the focus towards the soul's journey towards the realm of forms. And the Egyptian concept of the creator god, often depicted in anthropomorphic terms, was reinterpreted through Neoplatonic ideas of the One, and the process of emanation, portraying the divine as an abstract, transcendent principle. In Alexandria, the vibrant hub of philosophical and religious exchange, the Greek pantheon merged seamlessly with Egyptian deities, creating syncretic religious traditions that blurred the lines between cultures and beliefs. In short, the Greek lens added layers of philosophical depth and complexity to Egyptian ideas, but also potentially shifted their original emphasis. Now, how did this transformative influence affect key figures like Thoth and Hermes, figures central to both Egyptian and Hermetic traditions? How did their roles and attributes evolve as Egyptian wisdom was filtered through the Greek intellect? VII. Case study: the transformation of Thoth. Hermes Thoth, in the Egyptian pantheon, reigned as the god of wisdom, writing, magic, and measurement, a multifaceted deity deeply intertwined with knowledge and the divine. He was the scribe of the gods, the inventor of writing, and the keeper of divine knowledge, his attributes symbolized by the ibis, the baboon, and the writing stylus. Picture him meticulously recording the events of the cosmos, the embodiment of intellectual prowess and divine communication. He was, in essence, the architect of knowledge itself. Hermes Trismegistus, on the other hand, emerges as the legendary author of the Corpus Hermeticum, a syncretic figure blending the Egyptian Thoth with the Greek god Hermes. Known as the thrice great Hermes, he embodies a fusion of Egyptian and Greek deities, revered as a teacher of esoteric wisdom and the founder of Hermeticism. His role emphasizes the transmission of knowledge and the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment, a bridge between the divine and the human realms. The image of Hermes Trismegistus represents the culmination of Egyptian and Greek intellectual traditions. While both Thoth and Hermes Trismegistus share associations with wisdom, knowledge, writing, magic, and communication with the divine, significant differences emerge upon closer examination. Thoth's role in Egyptian religion often involved specific rituals, offerings, and temple practices, while Hermes Trismegistus, particularly in later Hermetic texts, places less emphasis on these concrete ritualistic elements. Consider Thoth overseeing the weighing of the heart ceremony, a key ritual, in contrast to Hermes Trismegistus imparting philosophical wisdom in the pages of the Corpus Hermeticum. This shift from Thoth to Hermes Trismegistus reflects a broader transformation from a ritualistic, polytheistic religious system to a more philosophical, monotheistic one. The syncretism that birthed Hermes Trismegistus demonstrates the religious and philosophical influences of ancient Egypt on other systems of belief, and Hermeticism's prominent role in the ancient world. Was this a natural evolution, or did it represent a departure from the original spirit of Egyptian wisdom? Did something vital get lost in translation as Thoth, the ritualistic deity, transformed into Hermes Trismegistus, the philosophical sage? While sharing similarities, Thoth and Hermes reflect different cultural and religious landscapes. What then is the true value of tracing these origins, and does contemporary Hermeticism accurately portray them? This transformation prompts a critical question. To what extent does contemporary Hermeticism reflect an authentic understanding of its Egyptian roots, or has it become something altogether different? Are modern practitioners truly connecting with the ancient wisdom of Thoth, or are they engaging with a Hellenized interpretation shaped by centuries of philosophical and religious influences? What aspects of modern Hermeticism reflect that authentic Egyptian origin, and what aspects are a later Greek or other cultural contribution? These questions beg to be answered, but we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. VIII. Initiation as transformation. The descent and ascent. To what extent does contemporary Hermeticism reflect an authentic understanding of its Egyptian roots, or has it become something altogether different? And if significant differences exist, are modern practitioners even aware of the subtle, or perhaps not so subtle, shifts in meaning and emphasis? Now let us consider the very nature of initiation itself, for at the heart of both Egyptian mystery schools and Hermeticism lies the profound concept of transformation, achieved not merely through intellectual understanding, but through a radical shift in consciousness, a symbolic death and rebirth that marks the initiate's spiritual renewal. Initiation, in this context, is not simply the acquisition of knowledge or the memorization of facts. It is a crucible, a transformative experience that fundamentally alters one's perception of reality and one's place within it. It is a process of dismantling the old self, shedding limiting beliefs and ingrained patterns of thought, to make way for a new, more enlightened consciousness to emerge. Imagine a caterpillar entering a chrysalis, undergoing a complete metamorphosis, and emerging as a butterfly, a potent symbol of the transformative power of initiation. Similarly, the initiate must undergo a period of intense introspection, self-examination, and confrontation with their own shadows to emerge transformed. This process of transformation, so central to both Egyptian and Hermetic thought, emphasizes the importance of inner work and the cultivation of virtues as essential components of spiritual growth. Consider that initiation is not a passive reception of information, but an active, experiential journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. In what ways do ancient mystery schools showcase this facet of the initiation process? The Egyptian mystery schools, shrouded in secrecy and ritual, placed immense emphasis on the journey through the duat, the Egyptian underworld, as a central component of initiation. The duat, a realm of darkness, chaos, and primordial potential, represents a perilous passage through trials, tribulations, and encounters with various deities, demons, and symbolic guardians. It is a realm where the initiate confronts their deepest fears, overcomes seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and undergoes a profound spiritual reckoning. Picture the initiate navigating treacherous landscapes, battling monstrous entities, and deciphering cryptic symbols, all while striving to maintain their inner balance and purpose. The journey through the duat, therefore, is not merely a physical voyage, but a symbolic representation of the initiate's inner transformation, a descent into the depths of the self to emerge renewed and reborn. What does this tell us about the Egyptian view of personal growth? The journey through the duat, with its emphasis on confrontation, challenge, and ultimate triumph, resonates deeply with Hermetic concepts of inner transformation. The Hermetic path of initiation, like the Egyptian journey through the underworld, involves a descent into the depths of the self, a facing of one's shadows, and an overcoming of obstacles to achieve enlightenment. The Hermetic alchemical process, with its stages of negrito blackening, albedo whitening, and rubedo reddening, mirrors the journey through the duat, representing the breakdown of the old self, the purification of consciousness, and the ultimate integration of the individual. The alchemist, like the Egyptian initiate, must confront the darkness within, transmute base elements into noble ones, and ultimately achieve the perfection of the philosopher's stone. In this sense, the Hermetic alchemical process becomes a potent symbol of the transformative power of initiation, a testament to the enduring influence of Egyptian thought on Western esoteric traditions. Trials will make you stronger, just as the fire refines gold. So what exactly is alchemy in the Egyptian context, and how does it mirror this pattern of descent and ascent? IX. Case study: Alchemy and the Egyptian roots of transformation. Alchemy, far from being a mere proto-science focused on transmuting base metals into gold, represents a core transformative practice at the very heart of Hermeticism. It is a symbolic language, a complex system of metaphors, and a practical methodology for achieving spiritual purification and perfection. Alchemy, in this sense, is not simply about manipulating external substances, but about transforming the self, aligning one's inner world with the divine order of the cosmos. Think of the alchemist as a spiritual physician seeking to heal the soul and restore it to its original state of perfection. But to truly understand alchemy, we must trace its roots back to ancient Egypt, to the land of Chem, where the seeds of this transformative art were first sown. Indeed, the very word alchemy is believed to derive from Chem, the ancient name for Egypt, suggesting a profound connection between the Hermetic art and its Egyptian origins. The Kemetic roots of alchemy can be traced to ancient Egyptian metallurgical practices, religious beliefs about transformation and resurrection, and the sophisticated understanding of natural processes that characterized Egyptian civilization. Egyptian metalworkers, skilled in the art of extracting, refining, and alloying metals, possessed a deep understanding of the transformative properties of fire, heat, and chemical reactions. These practical skills, combined with religious beliefs about the afterlife, the resurrection of the body, and the power of ritual, laid the foundation for the development of alchemy as both a practical and a spiritual discipline. Consider the Egyptian embalming process, with its intricate rituals, precise chemical techniques, and profound symbolism, a testament to the Egyptian obsession with transformation and the preservation of life beyond death. So how did the symbolic language of alchemy further reflect these Egyptian roots? Alchemists, drawing upon the rich symbolism of Egyptian mythology, religion, and art, used complex symbols and metaphors to represent the stages of transformation, the properties of substances, and the forces at play in the alchemical process. Egyptian deities, such as Thoth, Anubis, and Osiris, were often associated with specific alchemical processes, representing different aspects of transformation, knowledge, and resurrection. Alchemical symbols, such as the serpent, the phoenix, and the scarab beetle, were often derived from Egyptian hieroglyphs and religious imagery, further reinforcing the connection between alchemy and its Egyptian origins. The Emerald Tablet, a foundational text of Hermeticism, with its cryptic pronouncements and symbolic language, is believed to have its roots in ancient Egyptian wisdom, reflecting the enduring influence of Egyptian thought on the development of alchemical theory. What's more, this connection is often overlooked. The alchemical vessel, the crucible in which transformation takes place, becomes a microcosm of the Egyptian underworld, a space where the initiate confronts their shadows, undergoes purification, and emerges reborn. And this process is very specific. The alchemical process, as mentioned earlier, embodies the pattern of descent and ascent, the journey through darkness, and the ultimate triumph of light. The nigredo, or blackening stage, represents the initial breakdown of the old self, the confrontation with one's shadows, and the dissolution of limiting beliefs. The albedo, or whitening stage, represents the purification of consciousness, the removal of impurities, and the emergence of a new, more refined perspective. The rubedo, or reddening stage, represents the integration of the individual, the union of opposites, and the achievement of spiritual perfection, the creation of the philosopher's stone. This process mirrors the journey through the Egyptian duet, with its trials, tribulations, and ultimate resurrection, highlighting the enduring influence of Egyptian thought on the alchemical pursuit of transformation. This process mirrors the individuation process described by psychologist Carl Jung. Is this merely a coincidence? Indeed, Jung, recognizing the profound psychological symbolism embedded within alchemical texts, saw the alchemical process as a metaphor for the journey of psychological integration, the process of confronting and integrating the various aspects of the self, including the shadow. Jungian archetypes, such as the anima, animus, and self, find parallels in alchemical symbols and processes, further highlighting the connection between alchemy and the exploration of the human psyche. Alchemy, therefore, can be seen as a journey of psychological integration, a process of confronting one's inner demons, integrating one's shadow, and ultimately achieving wholeness and self-realization. Alchemy gives invaluable insight into the descent and ascent, but how is this knowledge distorted in contemporary Hermeticism? The shadow of distortion. Modern Hermeticism and the Egyptian legacy, while acknowledging the profound influence of ancient Egypt on Hermeticism, we must also recognize the potential for distortions and misinterpretations in the transmission of Egyptian wisdom over the centuries. Modern Hermeticism, as it exists today, is not a direct, unaltered replica of ancient Egyptian practices, but rather a complex synthesis of various traditions, philosophies, and cultural influences that have shaped its evolution over time. To assume otherwise would be to fall prey to a romanticized vision of the past, one that overlooks the inevitable process of cultural translation and reinterpretation. How can we reconcile our understanding of the past with the lived realities of the present? We must also be wary of perpetuating romanticized or inaccurate portrayals of Egyptian religion and spirituality that may be prevalent in some Hermetic circles. The idea that the pyramids were built by slaves, the notion that Egyptian magic was purely benevolent, and the tendency to selectively cherry-pick elements of Egyptian mythology to support pre-existing beliefs all represent potential distortions that can obscure a more nuanced and accurate understanding of ancient Egypt. The idea of ancient Egypt as a purely utopian, enlightened civilization, untouched by conflict or social inequality, is a simplistic and ultimately misleading portrayal of a complex and dynamic society. What ethical responsibilities do modern practitioners have in representing these traditions? Modern Hermetic orders, in their attempts to synthesize Egyptian wisdom with other esoteric traditions, may have inadvertently reinterpreted or downplayed certain aspects of Egyptian religion, potentially introducing biases or selective interpretations in the way Egyptian deities, symbols, and rituals are presented in modern Hermetic teachings. Some modern orders, for example, may focus more on personal empowerment and individual transformation than on the broader themes of cosmic harmony, social justice, and ethical conduct that were central to Egyptian thought. Others may emphasize certain deities or symbols while neglecting others, potentially distorting the overall balance and interconnectedness of the Egyptian pantheon. Consider the ethical implications. Are modern practitioners truly honoring the spirit of ancient Egyptian wisdom, or are they simply appropriating its symbols and rituals to serve their own agendas? What is the impact and scale of this modern appropriation? The idea of a lost lineage of Hermetic wisdom suggests that there may be alternative interpretations or practices preserved outside mainstream Western traditions, hidden streams of knowledge that offer a more authentic understanding of Egyptian mysteries. These hidden lineages, often whispered about in esoteric circles, are said to possess keys to unlocking the true potential of Hermetic initiation, offering insights into the deeper, more esoteric dimensions of Egyptian wisdom. Are such lineages real, or are they merely the product of wishful thinking and romantic speculation? What if the most profound secrets of Hermeticism lie not in the well-trodden paths of established orders, but in the hidden corners of forgotten traditions? Are we truly rediscovering lost wisdom, or are we merely creating new myths based on old ones? And what will our ethics be if we go looking for these lineages? We must also consider the recurring pattern of ethical behavior. Compare the different ethics systems of Egyptian mystery schools and modern Hermeticism. How do they differ? What aspects remain similar? Now that we've examined this, what is the impact and scale of these distortions on contemporary Hermeticism? XI. Relevance and rediscovery. Reclaiming the Egyptian roots despite the potential for distortions and misinterpretations. Understanding the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism remains of profound significance for anyone seeking a deeper understanding of these traditions. A deeper appreciation of ancient Egyptian religion, philosophy, and culture can enrich one's understanding of Hermetic principles and practices, providing fresh perspectives, deeper insights, and a more nuanced appreciation of the transformative potential of Hermetic initiation. Studying ancient Egypt can provide a fresh perspective on Hermeticism, but how can we connect with these roots? For one, studying ancient Egyptian texts, myths, and religious practices can offer a direct and unfiltered glimpse into the worldview that shaped the earliest expressions of Hermetic thought. Exploring the symbolism of Egyptian deities such as Thoth, Isis, and Osiris, and their connections to Hermetic concepts can illuminate the deeper meanings and interconnections within both traditions. Practicing meditation and visualization techniques inspired by Egyptian rituals can offer a powerful means of connecting with the spiritual energies and transformative potential of the Egyptian mysteries. Finally, connecting with other seekers and scholars who are interested in the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism can create a supportive community for learning, sharing, and exploring these fascinating traditions. Ultimately, Hermeticism is not just an intellectual pursuit, but a path to profound inner transformation. It is a journey of self-discovery, a process of aligning oneself with the divine order of the cosmos, and an ongoing quest for spiritual growth. By embracing the transformative potential of Hermetic initiation, by connecting with the wisdom of ancient Egypt, and by continually seeking to refine our understanding of these traditions, we can unlock the hidden power within ourselves and contribute to the ongoing evolution of human consciousness. Hermetic initiation can lead to personal empowerment and spiritual awakening. And there is always more to explore and more to seek. And so, we return to our core themes, rediscovering lost wisdom, seeking authentic spiritual knowledge, and reconciling ancient wisdom with modern practices. But we're just scratching the surface, and what we'll discuss next is even more amazing. As always, seek the light. There is always more to learn and more to discover. We hope you join us. XII, the role of DEITIES, divine masks and esoteric forces are the deities of ancient Egypt and Hermeticism merely mythological figures, characters in elaborate stories meant to entertain or instruct the masses? Or might they be something far more profound, representations of specific energies, principles, or aspects of consciousness that exist within us all? Consider that these deities are not just stories, but rather intricate maps of the inner landscape, representations of the forces that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This perspective challenges the conventional understanding of deities as external beings, instead proposing that they are reflections of the inner cosmos. Within the Egyptian worldview, the concept of Netta, often translated as gods or principles, represents a complex system of personified natural forces, ethical values, and psychological functions. Ra, the sun god, embodies the life-giving energy of the sun, the source of all creation. Osiris, the god of the underworld, represents death, rebirth, and the cyclical nature of existence. Isis, the goddess of magic, embodies wisdom, healing, and the power of transformation. These deities were not simply objects of worship, but rather integral aspects of Egyptian cosmology, ritual practice, and daily life, woven into the very fabric of their civilization. Egyptians interacted with these Netta through rituals, offerings, and prayers, seeking to align themselves with the cosmic order and harness the power of these divine forces. It's also important to remember that Egyptians considered themselves co-creators with the gods. How might this affect their initiations? Hermeticism, in turn, integrates these Egyptian deities into its own system, reinterpreting them as archetypal forces or symbolic representations of universal principles. Influenced by Neoplatonism, Hermeticism views these deities as emanations of the One, the ultimate source of all creation. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary founder of Hermeticism, is often associated with the Egyptian god Thoth, the deity of wisdom, writing, and magic. In this context, Thoth becomes a symbol of the divine intellect, the power of reason, and the ability to understand the hidden laws of the universe. This integration of Egyptian deities into Hermeticism reflects a profound respect for the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians and a recognition of the enduring power of their symbolic language. But what are the practical implications of viewing deities as esoteric forces rather than external beings? Viewing deities as esoteric forces rather than external beings has profound implications for our understanding of Hermetic initiation. It suggests that initiation is not merely a process of acquiring knowledge or performing rituals, but a process of aligning oneself with these forces and harnessing their transformative power. By understanding the symbolic language of the deities, initiates can gain access to deeper levels of consciousness and unlock their own hidden potential. Initiation, in this context, becomes a journey of self-discovery, a process of integrating the various aspects of the self and aligning oneself with the divine order of the cosmos. In what ways might we engage with these forces to better understand ourselves? Emphasizing the deity roles and ethical behavior associated with them is paramount. Ra, with his association with light and creation, encourages ethical behavior associated with honesty and clarity. Osiris, as the god of the afterlife, emphasizes the importance of justice and compassion. Isis, the goddess of magic, promotes wisdom and understanding. By embodying these ethical values, initiates can align themselves with the positive aspects of these deities and harness their transformative power. The deity and ethical value are inextricably linked, and understanding this connection is crucial for successful initiation. So if this is the case, what happens when we look at a deity like Set through this lens? XIII. Case study: Set from chaos to transformation. Is Set often portrayed as the villainous brother of Osiris and the embodiment of evil, truly a force of darkness and destruction, or has he been unfairly maligned throughout history? What if Set represents something far more complex, a necessary force of chaos, transformation, and the disruption of the status quo? Consider that Set is not the devil of the Egyptian pantheon, but rather a catalyst for change, a disruptor of stagnant systems, and a symbol of the untamed potential that lies within us all. This perspective challenges the common portrayal of Set as a purely negative force, instead proposing that he plays a vital role in the cosmic drama. The symbolism of Set is complex and multifaceted. His animal head, often identified as a jackal, donkey, or mythical creature, represents his untamed and unpredictable nature. His red hair and skin are associated with raw energy, passion, and the scorching heat of the desert. His forked tail symbolizes his ability to divide and disrupt. Set's association with the desert, a barren and unforgiving landscape, reflects his role as a force of chaos and transformation. Despite his seemingly negative attributes, Set also played a crucial role in Egyptian mythology, serving as the defender of Ra, the sun god, against the serpent Apep, the embodiment of chaos. Without Set's strength and courage, Ra would be swallowed by Apep, plunging the world into eternal darkness. So why did the Egyptians have such a complicated relationship with Set? Set's role in the Osirian myth is particularly complex and often misunderstood. While Set's act of killing Osiris is undeniably tragic, it is also a catalyst for transformation and rebirth. Without Set's actions, Osiris would not have been resurrected, and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth would not continue. Isis, through her magical abilities, was able to resurrect Osiris, but this resurrection was only possible because of Set's initial act of violence. Set's actions, therefore, can be seen as a necessary sacrifice, a painful but ultimately transformative act that allows for the renewal of life. Consider this: would there have been a need for the transformative magic of Isis without the initial disruption caused by Set? Set, in his role as a disruptor and transformer, embodies the alchemical principle of dissolving and transforming old forms to create something new. The alchemical process, with its stages of nigredo, albedo, and rubedo, mirrors Set's role in the Osirian myth. The nigredo, or blackening stage, represents the breakdown of the old self, the confrontation with one's shadows, and the dissolution of limiting beliefs, something that Set embodies through his disruptive actions. Set, in this context, becomes a symbol of the transformative power of destruction, the necessary force that clears the way for new growth and creation. By embracing the energy of Set, initiates can break free from stagnant patterns and embrace the potential for radical transformation. In what ways can Set be a valuable ally on the path of Hermetic initiation? Set, as a symbol of chaos and transformation, can be a valuable ally in the process of Hermetic initiation. By embracing the transformative power of Set, initiates can break free from limiting beliefs, overcome obstacles, and achieve higher levels of consciousness. Set can help initiates confront their shadow selves, the hidden aspects of their personality that they may be unwilling to acknowledge. By integrating these shadow aspects, initiates can achieve greater wholeness and self-acceptance. Embracing Set is embracing the shadow. Is that what happened when Gnosticism appeared and integrated with Hermeticism? XIV, Gnostic influence. A new layer of interpretation: what happened when Gnosticism, with its emphasis on personal spiritual knowledge and its often negative view of the material world, encountered and influenced the Hermetic tradition. Did this fusion enhance the transformative potential of Hermetic initiation, or did it introduce distortions that obscured the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians? Consider that the integration of Gnostic ideas into Hermeticism represents a complex layering of philosophical and religious perspectives, a fusion that both enriched and potentially complicated the Hermetic path. Gnosticism, a diverse religious movement that flourished in the Roman Empire, emphasized personal spiritual knowledge, gnosis, as the key to salvation. Gnostics believed that the material world was created by a flawed or evil creator god, known as the Demiurge, and that human beings were trapped in this world, ignorant of their true spiritual nature. Salvation, according to Gnosticism, could only be achieved through gnosis, a direct and personal experience of the divine. Gnostic beliefs challenged the prevailing religious and philosophical views of the time, offering an alternative path to spiritual liberation. How did Gnostic ideas come to influence the Hermetic tradition? Gnostic ideas found their way into Hermetic texts, influencing the understanding of the nature of reality and the path to spiritual liberation. The concept of a transcendent God, separate from the material world, became more prominent in Hermetic thought, reflecting the Gnostic emphasis on the divine realm as distinct from the flawed world of creation. The idea of spiritual liberation through gnosis also resonated with Hermetic ideals, emphasizing the importance of personal knowledge and direct experience in the pursuit of enlightenment. Hermetic texts began to incorporate Gnostic concepts, creating a unique synthesis of Egyptian wisdom and Gnostic philosophy. But what impact did this have on the interpretation of Egyptian deities and myths? Gnosticism, with its negative view of the material world and its association of certain Egyptian deities with the Demiurge, often demonized figures like Set. Viewing Set as an agent of the evil creator god, the Gnostics further perpetuated a negative portrayal that cast a long shadow over the Hermetic tradition. This demonization, stemming from the Gnostic belief that the material world was a prison created by a flawed deity, led to a rejection of Set's transformative power. While the Egyptians recognized the necessity of Set's disruptive force in maintaining cosmic balance, the Gnostics viewed him as a purely malevolent figure. But what lasting impact did this demonization have on the Hermetic tradition? The Gnostic demonization of Set may have contributed to the suppression or misrepresentation of his role in modern Hermetic orders. As a result, the transformative power of Set, so essential to the alchemical process, was often overlooked or downplayed, hindering the initiate's ability to confront their shadow self and embrace radical transformation. The ethical code of modern Hermetic orders may have been compromised by this negative portrayal, leading to an incomplete or distorted understanding of the Hermetic path. As such, if you view the agent of change as evil, that makes you unable to make change. If this is the case, how would the ethical codes of Gnosticism and Hermeticism compare? Comparing Gnostic influence in Hermeticism with its influence in ancient mystery schools reveals a complex interplay of ideas and traditions. Other systems of thought were also changed by Gnosticism, and this gives context to what happened when Gnosticism was layered on top of Hermeticism. In a system that encourages change, suppressing the agent of change can be devastating to an initiate. With this in mind, what scale and impact did the Gnostic influence have on Hermeticism? XV. RECLAMING authenticity. Integrating the shadow, is it time to critically examine the historical and cultural influences that have shaped Hermeticism, moving beyond superficial interpretations and delving deeper into the Egyptian roots of the tradition? What if the key to unlocking the true potential of Hermetic initiation lies in reclaiming a more balanced and nuanced understanding of Egyptian deities, including the often maligned figure of Set? Consider that Hermeticism, to be fully understood, should not be taken at face value, but rather should be examined through the lens of its Egyptian origins. Embracing a more balanced understanding of Egyptian deities, including recognizing the positive aspects of figures like Set, can lead to a more complete and transformative understanding of the Hermetic path. By integrating the shadow, the initiate can achieve greater wholeness and self-acceptance, unlocking hidden potential and achieving higher levels of consciousness. This requires a willingness to challenge conventional assumptions and to embrace the full spectrum of human experience, including the darker aspects that are often repressed or denied. But how can we connect with the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism in a practical way? To connect with the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism, we must engage in a multifaceted approach that combines study, practice, and ethical reflection. 1. We should study ancient Egyptian texts and religious practices, such as the Book of the Dead and the Pyramid texts, to gain a deeper understanding of the Egyptian worldview. 2. We can practice meditation and visualization techniques that focus on specific Egyptian deities and symbols, allowing us to connect with their energies and unlock their transformative potential. 3. Explore the ethical implications of the Hermetic laws, with a focus on living in harmony with the natural order, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. 4. We can connect with other seekers and scholars who are interested in the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism, creating a supportive community for learning and exploration. It is through rediscovering lost wisdom, seeking authentic spiritual knowledge, and reconciling ancient wisdom with modern practices that we can be successful. To do this, we must seek true knowledge, not distorted knowledge. By delving deep into the roots of Hermeticism, we can gain a more complete and transformative understanding of this ancient tradition. As always, seek the light. There is always more to learn and more to discover. Delve deep into the roots. What we'll discuss next is even more amazing. We hope you join us. As we conclude our exploration into the depths of Hermetic initiation and its connection to ancient Egyptian mysteries, let us pause and reflect on the intricate tapestry we have woven together. A tapestry rich with symbolism, historical context, and profound spiritual insights. Our journey has led us through the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, where the seeds of Hermetic wisdom were first sown, watered by the intellectual currents of ancient Greece, and reshaped by the alchemical fires of later centuries. We have examined the impact of Greek philosophy on the interpretation of Egyptian deities, observed the transformative power of figures like Set, and considered the complex layering of Gnostic influences. Our journey has shown not a perfect mirror reflecting ancient Egypt, but a complex reflection refracted through the prisms of time and culture, and that modern Hermeticism is not a flawless copy, but rather a complex synthesis of ancient wisdom and evolving philosophical perspectives. Returning to our initial question about the accuracy of modern Hermeticism's reflection of its Egyptian roots, we can now state with greater clarity that while modern Hermeticism does indeed contain echoes of authentic Egyptian wisdom, it has also been significantly shaped by various other cultural and philosophical influences. The connection is undeniably real, yet it is not without distortions, reinterpretations, and the inevitable imprint of human understanding. Further study, critical examination, and a willingness to engage with the primary sources will undoubtedly help to eliminate many of these distortions, allowing for a purer and more profound understanding of the Hermetic path. But this exploration of Hermeticism and its Egyptian roots extends beyond the confines of a single spiritual tradition. It speaks to the larger themes of spiritual authenticity, the dangers of cultural appropriation, and the importance of historical awareness in understanding any spiritual path. Without a deep and critical awareness of the historical context, sources, and influences that have shaped a spiritual tradition, we risk falling into misinterpretations, superficial understandings, and a distorted view of its core principles. This applies not only to Hermeticism, but to any spiritual tradition that claims ancient roots. Through this exploration, we have gained a deeper understanding of Hermetic initiation and its profound connection to the ancient Egyptian mysteries. you now have a greater ability to critically examine the sources and traditions you encounter on your spiritual path, empowering you to discern the authentic echoes of ancient wisdom from the distortions of history. May this journey inspire you to continue seeking authentic spiritual knowledge, to challenge conventional assumptions, and to embrace the transformative power of the Hermetic path. The truth about Hermetic initiation lies in understanding its complex Egyptian roots, in recognizing the transformative power of its core principles, and in remaining ever aware of the distortions that have occurred throughout history. By delving deep into the Egyptian roots of Hermeticism, we can gain a more complete and transformative understanding of this ancient tradition. To continue this journey, we encourage you to further explore ancient Egyptian texts, practice meditation techniques inspired by Egyptian rituals, and connect with other seekers and scholars. We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, to like this video if you found it insightful, and to subscribe to the channel for more explorations into esoteric traditions. Hopefully, this exploration has given you a more nuanced understanding of Hermetic initiation and its Egyptian roots, challenging simplistic narratives and encouraging a deeper engagement with the tradition. We set out to determine the accuracy of the connection between modern Hermeticism and its Egyptian roots, and through our journey, we found that the connection is real, but complex and nuanced, requiring careful examination and a critical eye. With that, we conclude our exploration of the truth about Hermetic initiation.